This is my Camaro Kana build.
Camaro Kana? You entering in Mortal Kombat or something?
Scotto named it. Bullet Performance, T56, Carbon Edition. Then on into the engine, Texas Speed, 440 cubic inch.
That's an owner, builder, driver. You don't get those anymore. All right, everybody, we are literally in the middle of nowhere in Ridgecrest. I literally saw Muriel and Eustace Baggs driving their Model T down the street, so I know it's gonna be fun. We're here visiting our good friend, Darren Parsons. He is building a car that I have not seen yet. You may know him from doing off-road stuff. I want everyone to know I don't like Darren Parsons. The Dyno Show.
This is a little sneaky surprise for you guys.
Cool to see what he's going to be up to today, and they got me helping him. So I don't know shit about cars, but I do know how to take apart stuff and put it back together just a little bit. So let's go find out what he's doing. Oh boy, I see a V8. I see a transmission. I see a Darren Parsons.
Yo.
My boy, what you up to in here? And what is this?
This is my Camaro Kana build.
Camaro what?
Camaro Kana, come on now.
Camaro Kana?
Yep, that's what it is.
You entering in Mortal Kombat or something?
Scotto named it.
Of course he did.
So this is my grid build for the new Grid Racing Series.
Uh-oh, so you're competing?
I haven't ever built a car before. I haven't ever drifted before. I've never even driven a manual transmission car on a track before. But this is gonna be my first attempt at it. So I think you're gonna be one up on me.
Who, me? Just I can drive. So I can drive a manual car. I've semi-drifted before, but I've never really played in the dirt like how you play in the dirt. So your car control and physics may be way more different and something stiff and lowered to the ground.
That's the thing. I've never driven anything that's like tight and right and ready to go rip on a track before. It's always been big, loose off-road truck. So
what exactly is this?
It is an 1989 Camaro. It's a Z28, so it's not an IROC, but I love the IROC feels, and that was the goal when I pictured a car. Hoonigan was like, let's build a car. I said, let me think of a car I'd want to build, and an IROC Camaro seemed like the picture-perfect car to build in my mind. However, the solid axle thing, I've heard is a disadvantage. I didn't know that when I started it, but this thing's gonna be sick anyways.
Well, shoot, I see you got some beautiful parts here. You got damn near parts like you could buy 45 of these Camaro shells with, my boy.
Seriously. So this is sick. Bullet Performance, T56, Carbon Edition. So this thing has got the spray bars for the gears and honestly, I've never even installed one of these before. So this is gonna be a new one for me today.
6-speed?
6 speeds. So it's got that overdrive and double overdrive. I don't know if I need that. I don't think I need that for what I wanna do with the car. Obviously, we're trying to build the best. I've learned from building off-road trucks over the years that if you buy once and cry once, then you don't have to do it again. So let's make it to the best vehicle I could possibly build and afford. So this is what I got set up with for the transmission. Then on into the engine, Texas Speed, 440 cubic inch, race gas motor. So this thing's gonna run on a 105 plus octane or E85. So I'm hoping to be able to learn about that some more as we get into it. Race truck's always just been a 91 octane, 650 horsepower application. This one's obviously a lot more power, and it's got the PRC heads. It's got literally valve cover to oil pan, Texas Speed. I never even put a clutch on anything before, so I bought this Tilton for it because I hear that that's what you got to have.
Yeah, oh, that's important.
To handle the kind of horsepower we're gonna have in this crappy thing.
How much horsepower are you planning on making?
Dude, I hope it's like 800 horsepower,
So
but
let me get this straight. Never drifted before.
Nope.
Haven't had a race manual.
No.
And you're gonna have 800 horsepower.
Yeah, it sounds right.
So yeah,
it sounds
all you got at that point, the car is just gonna drive itself. All you got to do is steer.
Yeah, so that's something I haven't even addressed yet. It's like steering angle and things like that, but I think for the grid series, I should be good.
Mr. Parsons, what have you done to this car so far?
Everything I possibly can to the chassis. So from the suspension, Detroit speed, lowers. We did jack springs, which are something that's new to me. Never heard anything about a jack spring before, but apparently you're able to adjust the springs on the course while you're driving, like pull off to the side, you stick a 1/2 inch extension in the socket and you can actually raise or lower the front of the car, which is neat. JRI dual adjustable struts on the front. They would be a coilover, but we're running the jack spring, but still the same nice quality JRI components. We got these really cool plates up here with all the adjustments that I have no idea what they're supposed to do. Bare brakes, 14-inch rotors in the front, 6-piston calipers, 13-inch rotors in the back, 6-piston calipers with
Jesus
4-piston handbrake. So I have a separate handbrake.
That way the brake pedal don't give you feedback when you're pulling up the
that's
e-brake.
weird. Yeah, I felt that before. So now we don't have to deal with any of that. I got done plumbing that just this last week. Been tweaking around with that. I did have to take this from an automatic car because it was an automatic 305 700R4 car to a manual car for the T56 from Bowler. And in order to do that, I had to make a 3-pedal assembly, which I got from Willwood to be able to handle this kind of horsepower. It's got a Gear FX rear housing, which is sick. Ford 9-inch setup with a 389 gear set with True Track from Evan Weller Performance. We got status seats.
Okay.
Yeah, we got status seats. You heard of them.
Yeah, I got status seats.
Excited to get those in there today. So let's get into it. What are we doing today?
So I'm guessing it's a trans. There's an engine. Let's mate this trans to this engine. Make sure it goes on. Put it in. I see you got a little board over there with the 50-50 weight dimensions and an actual weight of the car. So I know you want to make this as equally balanced as possible. You have a goal in your head that you have spoken about.
Yeah, I want it to be like sub 3,000 pounds, 50-50 weight, which I don't know how obtainable that is, but that's just what I have pictured in my head. My Jeep that I built a 50-50 weight. The race truck has got more rear weight because you need it to sit on the rear wheels when you're going fast through the desert. So that thing's 57% rear weight. So with the car build, I just want to get 50-50. I feel like I'll be most comfortable driving with that kind of weight. And then hopefully as light as possible because this thing's a race car. I'm not driving this thing to work.
Well, enough talking. Let's get to work because he's got a lot of progress to do. I want to see him make a lot of progress. And at this point, he's already beat Scotto. I already know this car runs with no engine in it, no front end, and just hope. And I hope, what is that?
Well, first, we're gonna have to take a couple steps back. We can't have all this if we're trying to put that in there, because this is just gonna be in the way.
So what are you finna do?
I was just gonna cut it off.
Oh my God, watch out for Derek.
You okay?
No, that's good. Yeah, I wear boots just for this.
Painted this whole engine bay, then cut this off and is whacking it with a hammer. Do you gotta paint it again?
Nah. I'm gonna put some plates right here and make like a 2 bumper for it.
Oh, nice.
So that it's like,
Yo, you know what I thought of? This man cut off the front end, so now we don't have to like jack it up and then like swip it in. Like, is it?
that's why.
Is that the race car part? I'm learning how to race car.
I stripped the bolt, the one bolt, which is frustrating. You know what's not frustrating? eBay Motors. We've been working with eBay for over a year, and it's been sick. When you're building a car, especially a low production volume car, there's so many parts that you need, and last minute too. I had to get a center diff, I had to get a bumper support, random fittings, OEM parts, and this car has a ton of them. And all of it has been used with eBay's Guaranteed Fit. It's pretty sick. It's super easy to use, and the Guaranteed Fit means that it's not gonna show up in some random thing, and you don't know if it's gonna fit.
Yeah, boy.
And in the off chance it doesn't, just get your money back. It's that easy. So anyway, while getting parts for this thing has become way easier, bolt extraction still sucks. Fucking terrible. I hate this thing.
Looks like it's going in. Push it. Yeah, it's going in. There you go.
This is where the engine used to mount before, and these 3-bolt pattern. And there are some aftermarket mounts that just go straight to an LS engine, but my thoughts are none of those are going to be willing to sacrifice the firewall like I'm going to have to if I need this engine pushed back to get 50-50. So I bought these like literal just hot rod mounts off of eBay so that I can push the engine back as much as possible. Yeah, hopefully land those to this cross member and then just weld them in. So that'll be a lot easier.
This is Parson Kings or King Parsons Racing over here. Let me know when. That's pretty much it. Down?
So we got it back and we got it in the right position. We ain't got no hole in the floor because this car was an auto car, so it didn't have to have a gigantic hole in the floor. It wasn't. It didn't have a shifter coming through the floor before. So now we're gonna go through the floor so that the shifter with this cutoff wheel, so that the shifter can come through the floor and we can finish getting the engine where we want it, because the only holdup is at this point we can't go down far enough. So I'm gonna take, from the way the engine was sitting in there, it was sitting heavy on the rears and it wasn't even touching the front. I wanna lower it, which is going to even out that contact. So instead of taking more off the rear than the front like you would think that you need to do, I think that when we drop the engine down more, it's gonna be more level. So I'm just gonna go with an even 1 inch off of each one and see where that lands us. How's that, Gary, for 1 inch?
On the money. It's on the money. Man knows his measurements. And he eyeballed that, by the way. That's an owner, builder, driver. You don't get those anymore. Usually some shithead paying a lot of money for a truck, then somebody else drives it. In the words of Bradley Saxton. Not me.
We'll get that transmission cross member up in there, and man, I almost feel like we should go down with the engine more.
How much more? Is it for hood clearance or what exactly?
Just because the lower the engine is in the vehicle, the better it is for dynamics.
How so?
It keeps your center of gravity down low. So that's one of the benefits of the LS engine in its entirety, is that it's a overhead valve motor, whereas like a dual red cam motor, the heads are huge. They weigh a lot. You have a lot of top end weight. So the LS engine, it's one of the reasons why it's favored, is because there is so much lower end weight. It keeps your CG down. Yeah, I think we need to cut off more.
You need to jack it up, coach?
Jack it up.
Bring it down. I think this brake line may be in the way. Yeah, this brake line bracket's in the way. Yeah. But other than that, that's where it's gonna sit. Damn near perfect.
Toss the crappy wheels and tires on it and see where we're at.
So I've read some stuff about an air-cooled torch versus a water-cooled torch. What are some of the key differences in both of them?
The torch is what's actually water-cooled, not the machine. So the size of a water-cooled torch is typically a lot smaller than an air-cooled one. So you can see the differences, right?
Yeah.
You can buy a different head for this torch. This is a number 17 size head.
Right.
This is a number 9 size head, which is the same size as your typical water-cooled 20 size.
What do you put into the machine?
Water actually is conductive. It has minerals in it. And so in a water-cooled circulator system like this, where you're TIG welding, you don't want any conductive water in it. So you'd have to use distilled or deionized water or a TIG coolant. And that TIG coolant is non-conductive. So it is a special coolant for it.
Huh.
It's science.
That's crazy.
It's science.
I don't even work this on my own car. Got one more, Kyle. Got the seat in, Kyle.
You want to put the other seat in there just for fun?
Sure.
Sure.
If we're gonna weigh it like it's supposed to be weighed.
Pretty much.
Okay, that makes sense.
Just like that. So we got it mocked in there, and we want to see where the weight's at, because the goals were sub 3,000 pounds, 50-50. This isn't a 100% accurate guesstimate, as we don't have any of the components on the front of the engine or the radiator end. But if we're close right now, we'll be close at the end. Right now is the time to make changes, because we can still go back with the engine about another 2 inches. So we're just going to see where it's at and go from there.
How much are you hoping to get right now?
I would love it if the car was sub 3,000 pounds. Like, let's say, all right, I'm gonna put a number out there. 2769.
I'm gonna go 2820.
Right,
I'll go 2,700. All right, let's go.
If this is right, it says 2640.
Oh!
Yay! Usually it'll come down a little bit as No, that's great. Now let's look at the weight percentages, front to back, and we're gonna see what the rear weight is. 48% rear weight right now. Okay, that sounds right with those numbers.
So you damn near got what you wanted.
Okay, now we're gonna throw a screwball in though, because we're gonna put me in the car, and let's see what happens. So I'm 200 pounds.
28.49.
Hell yeah. Now, unclick the front wheels and see what rear weight is.
49.5.
That is really good.
You eyeballed it too.
Just eyeballed it.
So my calculations were with him in the car.
Yeah. So what are we at total right now with me in the car?
28.50.
That's freaking awesome.
So it'll be sub 3,000.
It'll be sub 3,000.
Are you caging it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is great. I mean, 150 pounds to play with. I do plan on putting a cage in this, which is going to consist of a rear hoop, cross harness bar, down bar, 3 tubes forward. So there's not going to be a crap ton of front weight. It's got 1 brow bar, and it'll tie into the firewall with the kick panel, copying a like Formula D spec cage. But again, I think we'll be within well under the 150 pounds there. We have to put the components on the front of the car, which is going to be like 2 gallons of antifreeze, 14 pounds. Radiator probably weighs 20 pounds. Alternator, a power steering pump, and all the hoses and stuff for that. Maybe another 70, 80 pounds in the front of the car. So 3,000 pounds, 50-50 is looking really obtainable though right now. That's sick.
So was this the goal for the day, just to get the motor in, weigh it and all that?
Yeah, I'd love to be able to tack weld get the engine mounts welded in so that it's pretty much set. And then I can start making the transmission crossmember because I just have something literally self-tapered in there right now. Down just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, getting the engine in the car is huge. We got to move this brake line bracket right here real quick, and then we're good.
Pull it up, push it up. All right, everybody, Darren and I have finished putting in the engine. So we spent countless hours cutting, re-putting, and cutting these engine mounts in here. He went inside and cut the trans tunnel like a madman, just eyeballed everything, really.
Right. Yeah, we eyeball. That's what we do. As long as it works out, who cares?
That's true.
Right.
That's true. And now, as you can see, the center of gravity is great.
It's low.
He got the perfect weight that he wanted.
That's good. 2850 with driver, 49.5% rear weight, which is going to be easy to doll up to get that 50-50 that I wanted. But 49.5, come on, we're not splitting hairs here. We're building race cars.
And to top it off, it looks good in here. If you look at this trans tunnel, y'all, it looks like it's supposed to be in here, like it came factory from GM. Look at this. Not bad, right? Not bad for a man with a sawzall and a cutting blade.
That's right. I'll make a little trim ring to cover that up. You'll never even know it happened.
What's next for the car, Darren?
We got to put all the front accessory drive on. So I got the Holley mid-mount system that'll go on the front of this and give a real nice finished piece. It's all going to match everything really well. Also, it's all anodized black parts, so it'll look cool. Throw it out on there. Radiator, plumb the radiator, plumb the fuel system. And I got the Holley Terminator Max X system to tie into it. But we are so far ahead because I thought I was gonna have to cut the firewall to get this thing sitting right. And we got plenty of room. And we got a fully intact firewall, so I don't have to do any more fabrication. We got the pedal box in there. We got to hook up the hydraulics for the clutch master or throwout bearing, whatever. Yeah, we got to hook up the throwout bearing. And that's it. It's gonna be running next.
All right. Stay tuned, everybody. He got plenty more work to do, and I actually like helping Darren because he's patient, understanding, and caring. That's probably because he has kids. All right, Kyle, here's the camera.
Gary and Darren Parsons make it to Gymkhana Grid, get the car started, and find out if it makes the numbers that he wants to do what it does. And will Scotto get his 88.6 done with a VR6 swap? Will Ron's car run? Find out on the next episode of
This versus that garage.
Ooh.